Right, hello. I hope that is working. We are now live, and I thought I'd start a little bit early since I'm ready early and there's no point waiting around. Let's just turn that volume up a little bit. Some background music there. That might be a little too loud, so let's just turn it down a little bit more. Right, hello there, Neron, and hello, Dino Army, and Rami is in the chat. Ryan Penstrick 97, hello. Dino Army is also here, I know. Guillermo as well, and anybody else who may be watching this after the fact. Welcome to the stream. And today is a bit of a different stream, as you can see by what's on the screen. We're not going to be playing any games. What we're going to be doing is trying to come up with our own idea for what we would like to see in the next Jurassic movie. And thank you, I'll call you Ryan then in that case. So what are the guidelines for the next Jurassic movie? So for me, I've put down some of these. These are only basic guidelines though. So we need to have at least 2 characters that are going to return from the films. We are allowed to recast the actors, so that means we can bring back those whose actors may have sadly passed on, such as Richard Attenborough. We need 4 other characters. They can be characters who are returning or not. They can be totally new. It's up to you. And which actors you're going to have playing them. We need to come up with the plot. We need to have at least 8 dinosaurs or creatures with 1 main big ticket animal. And it can be about anything. So it can be post-Dominion, it can be pre-Jurassic Park, it can be a sequel, a prequel, alternate universe, anything you like. So I think we should get started with probably the returning cast, I should think. Maybe the kids from the first Jurassic World. I think Kelly is a good shot, just saying. Well, so who are we going to have as the returning cast? Let's start with that. So we need 2 returning cast. And obviously why? You've got to tell me why you think they would be good to have returning. They can be returning from Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. It's up to you. The lucky pilot should be involved because she's somehow a better pilot that has better plot armor than the kids. Well, that's okay, Ryan. You can start thinking about the plot. But I think you mean by pilot, you mean Kayla, Dinosaur King. A more faithful adaptation of the original novels, only with crisper and more up-to-date animals, maybe even using dinosaurs that weren't featured in the franchise prior. Okay, that's a possibility for a plot. I'll put that down under plot as a possible option. Let's just grab one of these. Whoops. So remake the original movie closer to the novel. Change the dinosaurs around, maybe. Alan Grant, it would be interesting to see him interact with the newer raptors. I vote for Kelly because we could make her trying to rescue Sarah because maybe she got trapped somewhere. So a lot of these are quite post-Jurassic World ideas. I'm seeing coming up here. I'm just going to put down the ideas for returning cast that we've got so far. So Kelly, from The Lost World. Dinosaur King suggested Kayla from Dominion. Dino Army suggested Alan Grant. Desperate for food and they need a pack. Blue fights the alpha female JP3 raptor and they both feather death and blue kills her. Other characters idea. Retired ACU person. Kind of as a secondary main character that's there to help out, but is allowed to die later. I like that idea. Whoops. Wrong font. Thank you. So a retired ACU slash original JP staff member who dies later. Eric from JP3. That's a good option. Eric from an older Eric from JP3. Eric Kirby. Maisie needs a lot. Go away, Dinosaur King. We're not rewriting Dominion. I'm going to put this down as another guideline. No clone child and no blue. Okay. And there's a good reason why those two. The clone child adds nothing to the story. And no blue because she is a character in herself. She's not a dinosaur anymore. Blue has been turned into a character because of all the anthropomorphizing. And I don't want that in a Jurassic movie. So no blue and no clone child. The dinosaurs have to be dinosaurs. I was thinking it could be happening while the events of Dominion is going on. So this could be a Dominion running story in a different part of the world. Okay, that's a good idea, Nero. Damn, human clones have human rights. They might have human rights, but Maisie still adds nothing to the story. Has the desktop audio stopped again? I'm trying to balance out the background audio to make it not too loud. What about the story of the young Tyrannosaurus from the Lost World Jurassic Park? And it's possible that he would have left his parents and found a mate or something. But we could introduce him as the big ticket returning dinosaur, I suppose. So the young Rex from GLW. Have to make that a little larger. Okay. So we're getting quite a few different ideas here. What about... I think if we decide on the plot, it will help guide our other aspects. Another character idea, a person related to someone in the main Jurassic Park event. Maybe Arnold, who was vengeful about the dinosaurs and became a dino hunter, or strong anti-dino advocate. I like that idea. Someone related to original JP staff who has become anti-dinosaur hunter or anti-dino advocate. Like it. What about... So, we've got lots of ideas for a post-Jurassic World movie. What about... something closer to the Jurassic Park films? Any ideas for that? Or any ideas for dinosaurs or creatures, actually, as well? We could do starting to build up that list. And I've made it very clear you can have... Don't have to have dinosaurs. You can have pterosaurs, we can have sea creatures, we can have other animals. It's up to you. The annoying lawyer. He's dead. A 1994 cleanup operation, says Guillermo. Oh, I will do, Neron. In fact, I'm going to add my own idea to the plot. So, an alternate universe plot where Jurassic Park has opened. And the obvious. There's also another idea I had, which is a prequel to Jurassic Park, focusing on the creation of the park, etc. Another lawyer, different. The goats and cattle, I was thinking, like the events of the... I wonder if some of the livestock animals are feral. Ooh. I think the goats all came from Isla Sorna, didn't they? They were wild goats on... That's what trespasser infers, I think. I'm actually going to put down a creature as well that I think we should have in it. I think we should have... I think we should have Arthroplura. Just going to... just to add that to your film idea here. Like, we've got to have Arthroplura in it. In terms of characters, let's think. We've got a retired staff member, someone related to the JP staff. I think we need some sort of scientist. Maybe someone who's morally grey. That's a bit too Doctor Wu. Not sure about that. How about Therizinosaurus and the savage tiger raptors? Okay, Sauroraptors. Remember that you've got to explain in the plot why these animals are here, so be careful, because Therizinosaurus hasn't been mentioned at all. So you've got, if you're wanting the tiger raptors and Therizino in the film Dinosaur King, you've got to figure out how that actually happens. If it's a prequel to Jurassic Park, then we could have the retired ACU be one of the capture team people from the security team instead. Okay. Member of the Raptor security team. Dinosaur idea, compies. I will allow the compies back, because that scene where they attack what's his name? Dieter? That's quite a horrific scene, to be honest. Ah, that's the other thing. So I think we should make this aim at a more mature audience with at least a 15 or 18 rating. Because if it's something that the Jurassic World films have certainly skimped out on, I think, is the horror elements, and the novels were really grim and dark. So I think we should make this particular movie much more mature. So compies would definitely fit in with that, I think. Dinosaur idea, Pachycephalosaurus from Tidskits, hello to the stream, but much more aggressive and play some role in the story. Okay, Pachycephalosaurus. Here's Pachycephalosaurus. Maybe we could have a goat or a cow actually beating up a dinosaur that was trying to hunt it. You have a chance to be a message to show that we do have chance. I was thinking, like, if they let's do a prequel of Jurassic Park, do it in a comic book or graphic novel, don't put it in a movie adaptation. Okay, so a prequel is out of it then. You do make a good... I mean, they have actually done prequels to Jurassic Park as a graphic novel. And they explain why... it explains why Dennis Nedry does not like the park and actually goes along with Biosin's plan. Clayton Fiorti has read it out, so I think if you want to check that story out, you should go and check out his channel. It's on there somewhere. Gore and blood time, exactly. Maybe the baby scene from the JP novel. What baby scene would that be, Tidskits? Add a Herrerasaurus as the somewhat raptor role. Ooh, I like that. The Herrerasaurus. Let's have those as the telltale Herreras as well. So I really like that color scheme they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've only got 2 dinosaur spaces. What about having a Puerto Rican official as a safety inspector during the JP novel? Was one of the builders died, so... Well, I think we need to nail down what the plot's going to be, because otherwise we're going to have characters which don't make sense for the plot. So let's try to nail down the plot a little bit more. Are we going to make this a Jurassic Park era film? Or are we going to make this a Jurassic World era film? No hybrids, says Ryan. Okay, we'll add that into there. No hybrids. Maybe the new Giga as the Rex, or we could have the Giga return in some way. Whether it's the Dominion one or a JP one. We'll figure that out. We could have the Dilophosaurus be kind of like a main villain or like a side villain. Oh god, that bot's back again. Hide user. Pterosaur for the big bad. What sort of pterosaur were we thinking of? So Dino Army says that the Jurassic Park era would be more interesting. And it's Mr. KK suggests the Quets, so... Quets. So Dino Army says that the Jurassic Park era would be more interesting for the film. Does anyone disagree? Oh, the hat. Don't remind me of the Hatzegopteryx, those poor Zalmoxes in prehistoric planet. Dr. Wu retiring. Okay. Let's go Jurassic Park then. Jurassic Park era. So, if we're going to go with Jurassic Park era, when specifically? I have seen the new movie, Mr. K. Ooh, the Chameleon Carno. Okay, I like the Chameleon Carno idea. I think we should replace the young Rex from The Lost World with the Chameleon Carno. And we are also a bit heavy on the meat eaters here, folks. We do need some plant eater dinosaurs. The Sauroraptors have become more ferocious than Big One and have territory fights, causing the first ever. Dinosaur King. We're not going to have a movie full of dinosaur fights. Bracky is a kind of a background dinosaur. So Bracky. We'll have the return of Bracky. Magyarosaurus is the small to medium herbivore. It's a dwarf sauropod. I don't know. I like Paki as the killing herbivore. Ah. Okay, a scene where it kills. Right, so what ideas do we got for Jurassic Park era? So we've got the events after Jurassic Park, before Jurassic World being built. Neron says immediately post Jurassic Park with the cleanup. So cleanup mission or post JP3 pre JW. Any other ideas? The Luxpara being born in Jurassic Park instead of Jurassic World. You can have an enclosure for sauropods. Like, I think we have enough critters for now. Maybe for I think we do have enough animal suggestions. Let's focus on what the plot's going to be. Because some of these dinosaurs we can't have if we go with one specific plot idea. So, could the JP Island be the game setup? The places in the game made it more like a theme park. Okay. So, have the telltale elements. That's actually a good idea, because that means we could bring in the Tylosaurus from the Telltale game. We already did a post JP3, didn't we, in the Better Show series? That was, yeah, it was kind of a post JP3 pre-Jurassic World one. So let's scratch out that idea since we've already done that. I like the illegal dino fight idea. It was okay, Tidskits. I'll be honest, I didn't like Dominion. I'm one of those who thought it was pretty substandard. So don't expect me to be particularly complimentary to the film. Actually, I kind of like the alternate history idea better. Okay, so alternate history idea we're getting closer to. I think no one really wants no one's mentioned the Dominion Runnings story. I think we should nail it down to an alternate universe where JP is opened, because I think that gives us a lot of options. And we can bring in all those telltale elements that Dino Army mentioned, and because it's alternate universe, we can recast the cast, we can have plenty of returning characters. What if an ankylosaur was getting attacked by a ton of compies and just rolled over and squished them all? Oh my god, that would be awful. That would be really horrific, Titskits. just rolling over, crushing them to... God. That would be disgusting and horrible. Okay. So, Act 1 of the plot. Oh, a dangerous hadrosaur. So, Jurassic Park has opened. How are we going to introduce the fact that this is an alternate universe story? And we do need a villain as Dinosaur King, so we'll put that down in the other characters. We need a villain. How do we present to the audience that this is an alternate history story? Like, how are we going to open it? What's going to be that pre-title, well, I say pre-title sequence, that initial sequence that hooks them in. Like, right after it opened, or a few years after it's opened? Let's say that it's been a few years, because we know a lot of the park was not going to be running on initial release. We know that Hammond was expecting most of the attractions to come on 6 months to a year down the line. So let's say it's been a year. That means we have the option to have new species being brought in. John Hammond slowly walks up and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jurassic Park." That would make a definite returning cast member be John Hammond, unless we make it that the little video that was supposed to play on that little ride, we have it in that sort of video clip. That way we don't have to recast John Hammond necessarily. He could still die. John Hammond welcomes the guests. So, John Hammond welcomes guests to Jurassic Park. Maybe the video clip, Hammond. So we don't necessarily have the real John Hammond in the movie. Dino Army is grabbing the JP map from the Telltale game. Mine's actually on the wall above my stairs. And don't forget Ankylosaur squishing compies. Well, we'll figure out scenes like that a bit later. So if we have that particular scene with the video, it means the film would open on that specific ride, I suppose. Maybe like that Jurassic Park has been running in the park. Besides a new species in grey, make it quets and it breaks out and then it all breaks. Jurassic gates open as Steam plays on semi-crappy speakers. Okay, so maybe after we have John Hammond initially welcoming guests to the park with on that video, we can have a little montage of different areas of the park, so we can see it running. To Tim and Lex are trying to be the voices of reason to help guests explain. Oh, well, that's something we need to decide on. If this is Jurassic Park running, did the events of Jurassic Park happen? Or are we going to say that the events with Nedry and everything didn't happen and that the park is running fine and Alan Grant and such signed off in it and all is going well? Or is the park running irrespective of the fact that everything went badly? Because I think if we say that things went badly and the park is still running, we've got to explain how it's still running. And if we don't have the events of Jurassic Park, then I think we can do more with it. But I'll give you guys a chance to give me your ideas. Nedry said no to Dodgson's offer, or he just didn't turn off the power. Oh, okay. Okay, Guillermo, you've given me an idea for the actual scene. So this is the opening to the movie. Opening. We see / here a recast Dennis Nedry on the phone to Lewis Dodgson / talking to Lewis Dodgson at the cafe. We hear Dennis getting cold feet about the plan. Why would Dennis say no to the plan? What would make Dennis say no to Biosin's plan? Because they were offering him a lot of money. And I think we need a better reason than just... John talks to Dennis and gives him a hefty raise and a new team. I don't know about that. I don't think Nedry would go and tell John Hammond what they were planning. Not to mention, if Hammond knew what Biosin was up to, then I think that would make things a bit too easy. So let's assume that Hammond doesn't know that Biosin is involved and doesn't know that Nedry was spoken to. Because that way we could still have Nedry in the film and we could still have Nedry dying, but we could have him dying as a result of Biosin trying to get rid of him. Dennis is getting cold feet about the plan. Maybe he wanted more money than the amount they offered. Maybe. Nedry was never hired, or they tried a different lab guy and he refused. He can be the main character for this movie. Okay, here we have a recast. Computer technician. To replace Nedry. On the phone to Lewis Dodgson, talking to Lewis Dodgson at the cafe, we hear that the new guy does not agree with Biosin's plan and walks away from the deal. Ooh, perfect music to come on with that particular idea. Okay, so that means we're going to need a new technician to replace Nedry. I don't know why, but he should be really tall, like 6'8". What? Maybe Charlotte Lockwood from the Jurassic World Dominion can be the one who recreated dinosaurs. Oh god, no. Well, I don't know. We could have her. I think we could have her mentioned as like maybe in the back scene, but I don't think I want to have anyone major from that whole clone child plot. It was just so weird. The new computer dude should be super tall. Why? I'm curious why he should be super tall. Villain can be Nedry undercover for Biosyn. Ooh. So we could have Nedry working for Biosyn directly. Okay. Nedry but working for Biosyn. So we have our new technician walking away from the Biosyn deal. Maisie's mum was in Jurassic Park. Well, let's be fair, Dinosaur King. Dominion forced Maisie's clone mother to be part of the movie. And part of so that they could try to force it in. That itself is a retcon for Fallen Kingdom. And it adds nothing to the movie, and it also doesn't add anything to wider Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. So let's just cut out any of that. There's no Charlotte Lockwood, no Maisie Lockwood, no clone child, no human cloning part. We're just cutting that out of anything to do with this particular movie, because it's just a distraction. And we do need to start thinking about focusing on some returning cast, because we have many ideas here, but I mean, we don't have to have 2 returning cast members. I mean, our plan for Nedry being the bad guy means he's got to come back. But I'm thinking 2 other returning cast members that we can add to this particular film. What if Lockwood return? Dinosaur King, I literally just said we're cutting out Lockwood entirely. That means the discount John Hammond older Lockwood, that means Charlotte Lockwood, that means the kid Chuck. We're getting rid of all of it. It's gone. It never happened. We don't need any other movies to try to force that whole thing to be canon, because it was a rubbish idea when Fallen Kingdom did it. We don't need a mansion Resident Evil style full of dinosaurs and a secret lab. So we're going to have various scenes of the original park running. What shall we see? So the JP gates, the Rex tour, the Rex area. Oh, the Tylosaurus, Mosasaur underwater dome, and the roller coaster area. So let's say that the movie, after giving us Robert Muldoon, he would technically be returning cast. Yep. Maybe we could have all the past characters come back in glimpses in a different reality. Like you can see Bob and Amanda with Eric in the park. We're only a year after the park has opened. We're at 1994. Eric wouldn't have been born yet, I don't think, given his age. I like the idea of Robert Muldoon coming back. Tembo. These are all good ideas, but we need to reduce these returning cast members down. We need to be quite specific. Who are the 2 returning cast members, in addition to Nedry, that we're going to have? Now, which 2 are also going to fit the plot the best, which we are still coming up with here. We can get rid of that one because she's not going to be in it. And get rid of Eric Kirby because he wouldn't have been born yet. Would Tembo replace Muldoon though? Because Tembo was just a hunter. And I don't think Hammond would have... a hunter working for him. Robert can't do much since he's head of security and wouldn't need to go out much, I think. What about the one who stole the eggs in JP3 and got attacked by the pterodons? Well, if this is Jurassic Park, again, I don't think he would be too young. Shall we do more with Arnold? Maybe Arnold and Muldoon can be teaming up for whatever the plot happens to be. So Ray Arnold, Muldoon. There are lots of... I mean, again, let's maybe stick to focusing on the plot. Because otherwise, we're just going to keep coming up with ideas and we're not really sure how we're going to use them. Obviously, things have got to go wrong, but we need to figure out how things go wrong. So the park is open. We see the park running. Arnold and Muldoon bazooka some shit like in the novel. Maybe. How is the park going to go wrong? If it's open and running, how is the park going to go wrong? Which is at the end of Act 1. End of Act 1, things go wrong. Or what happens? We haven't made a main character either. No, we haven't got a main character. Tropical earthquake or tsunami, says the Dino Dude. Well, Isla Nubra is nowhere near a... Well, actually, it's got a volcano on, so I suppose an earthquake is okay. Although those are kind of natural disasters which are a bit... I think that lacks agency and is a bit too close to the original movie, being that it was mostly a hurricane that was a problem. I think the part going wrong should be as a result of character rather than nature. Next scene could be the characters coming to the island. I don't know what characters, but it could be a start to introduce them. So... next scene, we're introduced to our main character, whoever that is going to be. Ooh, rabies. A rabies infection on the Giga. Or a rabies infection in general. We could have that as... which was done by Nedry by accessing the feeding platform. Okay, I like this idea more. Things go wrong. Nedry working directly for Biosin has poisoned food supply for a dino. Not sure which one yet. With a rabies virus. Dinosaur King, that really wouldn't do very much for the park. I mean, it would just kill the dinosaurs dead if you did that. Rabies, though, is a good idea because, you know, that turns animals into angry monsters. So that could work for sure. And maybe we could link that into one of the new characters. So we've got a scientist here. We don't need a villain, since Dennis Nedry is technically the villain. So the scientist could be, I don't know, maybe they're a disease expert. Nedry's leg gets caught in the feeding platform. He gets eaten with the food. Very gross. I think if we're going to have Nedry in it, Nedry deserves the death he got in the novel, or closer to the novel death. Maybe with the camouflage Carnotaurus. Rabies affect lysine genes somehow, which gets more urgent. Because we got to also figure out who the returning cast is. Let's not have Alan Grant. And let's not have Kelly from The Lost World, because again, it doesn't make sense. Just trying to think who else in the original casts we could have. How old was Sarah Harding in The Lost World? Because that's what, 1997, 3 years? I think she'd still be old enough to be part of the returning cast. Sarah Harding as the main character. I like that idea, Dinosaur King. Introduced to main character, Sarah Harding. Why is Sarah Harding coming to the island? Is she going to be working for Hammond? Maybe Hammond is not actually at the island anymore. Maybe Hammond is overseeing San Diego. Maybe they're trying to get San Diego finished so that they can have a second site. John Hammond isn't at the island, but is sending Sarah Harding to the island to check on things. Because we know that Sarah Harding was part of, Hammond knew Sarah Harding anyway, so it would make sense. Hammond is away overseeing the construction of a San Diego site. She's working for Hammond because he wanted her to show the animals weren't mindless monsters, as some protesters said, because of her boyfriend Ian Malcolm. We still haven't decided whether the events of Jurassic Park 1 actually happen or not. Because, like the Dinos dude states, if the events of Jurassic Park 1 have happened and all those people have died, the park wouldn't have opened. So if the park is opened and those events still happened, we need to know why, and if those events did not happen, then Dinosaur King, your idea no longer holds water. Island, and check things are running smoothly, as well as something else possibly. Oh, I don't think Alan, Ian, and Sattler would ever agree. So let's say they found different paleontologists, and one of those was Sarah and Ellie. I'm not sure out of the original cast who would have agreed with it. Ian wouldn't have agreed with it ever. Would Alan and Ellie Sattler have agreed with the park? I'm not sure on that. Sarah Harding being someone who would agree with the park, I could see happening. Sarah Harding, part of Hammond's team, who agreed with the park. Question mark. Sarah arrives to the island days after Nedry's rabies attack, and one of the animals shows signs and attacks with the glueless Nedry tried over the animal. God, you're all rushing towards the plot, aren't you? Pacing, dear folks, pacing. This is not Jurassic World Dominion, or Fallen Kingdom, or Jurassic Park. We don't need to rush towards the dinosaurs attacking and killing people. Let's pace the film properly. Don't see Alan, but could see Ellie. So maybe Sarah could just mentions also that Ellie Sattler was part of this team. Alan Grant only went because of money. Exactly. So if Alan Grant didn't need the money in this situation, then he wouldn't have gone. I don't think we should have Ellie Sattler, though, as part of the returning cast. So we definitely have Nedry coming back. And we definitely have Sarah Harding returning with more of a role. We need one more returning cast member. Someone of a big returning cast member. Just trying to think of characters that perhaps in the originals didn't have much of a role. Nick Van Owen, Hello, Taylor. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Ray Arnold, Dr. Who, scientist. Ludlow. I say Arnold. Okay, let's do Ray Arnold, and we'll give him more of a part in this movie. So Ray Arnold recast, obviously, because we can't have Samuel L. Jackson play him again. He's a bit old for that. Any ideas for who we could recast as Ray Arnold? How about that one who's been around ever? Is it Idris Elba? could he be Ray Arnold? He's a bit, I don't know. He's a bit more of a Lambert than a Ray Arnold. Oh, cool, Taylor. Now you'll have to let us know what you think of it. Let's have our scientist. How about we have Dr. Dewar? Who's Kevin Hart? I don't know these characters. I'm going to have a quick look. Kevin Hart. Oh, he's a comedian, isn't he? Is he a comedian? I don't know. I don't know this person. I'm terrible with actors. I'll be honest. I'm useless with actors. Ray can still be a comedic a-hole. I don't know. I think we'd need someone fairly serious, which is why I suggested Idris Elba, because he can be very serious. Or Ramsey Cole's character could play Ray. Well, I think Jurassic World Evolution 1 certainly gives us the option of maybe having some of those characters. Have Muldoon as a member of the raptor team that helps the main character that dies later. So we could still definitely have Muldoon come back, just as a side character. Obviously, we'll have to have him recast, so we need someone to play him. Kevin Hart is a comedian, but there's movies where he's serious. But could he replace? I mean, we are basically recasting Samuel L. Jackson here. Whoever we cast has got to be as good as Samuel L. Jackson. I'm not sure a comedian is the sort of character we need for that. You know who would have been good? The one who played Black Panther, but he died of COVID, didn't he? I think. Morgan Freeman, older but might work since he's serious. Denzel Washington or Morgan Freeman? Considering basically Ray Arnold's character was in charge of the whole control room pretty much, I think Morgan Freeman would work. So Morgan Freeman as Ray Arnold. Ah, no, he died because of lung cancer, which he had when he acted the damn film. Crikey. Who are we going to have play Robert Muldoon then? Because this Muldoon can be recast as our sort of more action hero-y stunt sort of guy. I'm just trying to think, who have I seen recently? Oh, Okay, we need a character for Kenneth Branagh. I'm sorry, if I'm doing this, Kenneth Branagh has got to be in my film, and he's got to have a character to play. So someone needs to come up with a character for Kenneth Branagh. He is one of my just simply because of his voice. He has the perfect voice, so I want him in the movie somewhere. Who's Kenneth? Who is Kenneth Branagh? Kenneth Branagh is the person who narrated The Walking with Dinosaurs. He was also in Dunkirk. He's been in a lot of movies, but I mostly know him because he did the narration for Walking with Dinosaurs. And he just has that voice. Oh, for heaven's sake, the bot's back. Does this mean I'm officially now a YouTuber because the bots are now attacking me? It's been banned. Don't worry, folks. Fat Jonah Hill. Are these... Right. Who we can have as playing Muldoon? We need an action hero person. We are not having Chris Pratt. They still need to be fairly British, I think, for Muldoon. Let's British actors. Let's see if there are some British actors that we could do. We need ones that are alive. Not because like it's just giving me a list of actors and some of these folks are actually dead. Like Alan Rickman, rest his soul. There we go. 50 of the best British actors today. Idea for a kid character, Lowry, since he was a kid in Jurassic Park. He probably would have been, yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch is not action movie-ish. Nor is he. Christian Bale? Christian Bale make a good Muldoon? I mean, Christian Bale certainly does Miserable rather well. Who else is down here? No. Something I'm noticing is a lot of the best British actors are in actual fact rather old. Muldoon isn't old. He needs to be a little younger. Ooh, what about David Tennant? Could we have David Tennant as Muldoon? Or could we have him somewhere else in the film? Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, I saw him on the list, Neron. I'm trying... where is he? He's like quite high up on the list as well. All right, he plays Loki. That's why I remember that name. I don't know. I'm not sure we have a character for him because he plays Loki very well, but that's because Loki is not a good character. And we need someone to play Dr. Dua as well, if we're going to have her in the film. I think we could have David Tennant's character be the technician who has replaced Dennis Nedry. Because then David Tennant can basically be his version of the Doctor, all kind of excessively smart and sarcastic. Tom Hiddleston did act the strong guy in the new King Kong, did he? Ah. But is he a Robert Muldoon? Can you see him walking around with a shotgun fighting off a raptor pack? I don't necessarily see it. We don't talk about that movie. See, this is what happens, Neron, when you start talking about Loki too much. You end up spawning Nerd Guy Productions. Me and him did in actual fact been watching Loki through. Kirsty Rose says she does see it. Loki walking around with a shotgun shooting a raptor pack. Okay then. Yeah, we have general support for Tom Hiddleston. I'm going to have to actually put Loki next to it so I remember who that actually is. As Robert Muldoon. Okay then. David Tennant is the new technician who replaces Dennis Nedry. I can see Loki demanding a raptor to stop. Yes, so can I, Dinosaur King, actually. So we got Sarah Harding as the main character. Also, I'm not recommending him because I have a crush on him. Neron, I'm not entirely sure you're being truthful there. Who is Sarah Harding going to meet off the chopper? Are we going to have our recast Ray Arnold? I think she should meet up with our Kenneth Branagh character. Let's get Kenneth Branagh in the movie from the start. So who is Kenneth Branagh going to play? What is Kenneth Branagh's character going to be? The narrator. Loki to the raptor, stop, you violated the law. You think Kenneth Branagh has to be the new tech guy? Yeah, but then he becomes a bit of a side character. Like, not to mention David Tennant would do the role of a tech character really well because of the way he acts as the Doctor, whereas Kenneth Branagh isn't really a sort of scientist / professor sort of person. He's more of a intelligent managerial kind of character, I think. I mean, he could be the overall manager of the island, I suppose. The island manager is Kenneth Branagh. I mean, given the choice between Claire Dearing and Kenneth Branagh, I know which one I would prefer. Running smoothly. She meets the new island manager, Mr. Branagh, off the chopper. Oh, we obviously need to have that chopper scene. Chopper arriving at the island scene. In Tennant, he played a good villain. Okay, hold on. If the 10th Doctor is coming, he can play a villain very well. I can see him as the man. Honest and no filter. Yeah, we haven't got a villain yet, have we? Well, I guess we have in the fact that Nedry is going to be... Should we really be tongue in cheek and have David Tennant play Dennis Nedry? Oh god, the bot's attacking again. But should we have David Tennant play Dennis Nedry? And that way David Tennant could be a bit of a villain. Because he did Barty Crouch rather well in Harry Potter. I'll leave that idea for you guys to think about. Chopper arriving at island scene, just like original film. However, this time there's a few changes. How are we going to... Oh, that bot is working really... Thank you, Nerd Guy. The Doctor gets caught by Loki feeding one of the animals a rabies-infected food item. Sounds like a serious movie. I suppose it is a bit of a mad idea. I just like the idea of David Tennant playing Dennis Nedry all of a sudden. Just because in the original movie, Dennis Nedry was... I mean, he wasn't exactly the smartest tool in the shed. I mean, he knew what he was doing, but he was a bit of comic relief as well. Whereas if David Tennant was playing him, it would certainly lend a bit more of a serious air to him. Let's do that. Let's be brave. We're gonna have David Tennant playing the bad guy as Dennis Nedry. That way we don't necessarily need a technician to replace him. But we could still do if we need a side character. Have we gone through all of the music? We have. Let's just get that playing again. How are we going to distinguish the park as being run? What sort of changes should we have? Like maybe the chopper flies over. Boat. Oh, I know the sort of thing I want. Chopper flies over a sea lion catamaran. As it approaches, boat done up in the JP style. The buildings won't be made out of straw, can be a start. Who is the new technician? We need him for the start of the plot, say Benedict Cumberbatch or someone else. We're a bit male heavy so far, so why don't we have the technician be a female? So we need someone who could play a good scientist or professor character who happens to be a woman. That's why I wanted Ellie Sattler. Yeah, but if we include Ellie Sattler, then we have to explain how or why she's there. And we've already got Sarah Harding coming back. What about Emma Watson as our female technician? She's quite well spoken. Maya Hawke for our scientist. Hang on, I'm looking this one up. Oh. The daughter of Uma Thurman. Really? after seeing her in Stranger Things so much, Nerd Guy, I thought that face was familiar somehow, and now I understand why. You know what? I agree with you there, Nerd Guy. I think Maya Hawke could do a good technician. I'm gonna put Stranger Things next to her so I know who on earth she is, though. Paleobotany, she can figure out. The thing is, once you've got something infected with rabies, it's kind of more of a dangerous situation than, oh, let's get Ellie Sattler in from the mainland. That would take a lot of time. Why are we bringing Dr. Dewar into Jurassic Park? She's the worst unneeded character. Well, I think Jurassic World Evolution gives us the option of having some of those characters come in. And I think if we're having her as one of the main scientists, because obviously Dr. Wu is going to be probably with John Hammond at San Diego. So we need someone to replace him. And I think Ellie, why would Ellie arrive with Sattler though? The poisoning hasn't happened yet, Dino Army. We haven't got to that yet. But we were on Dr. Dewar. Yeah, she's our replacement for Dr. Wu. Basically. And we can give her more of a character in this. Let's get Ryan Reynolds, says Phoenix. No. No. So Tidskits, we haven't. I can't remember how much you have actually missed. We are just building up the plot very slowly. We're still on more or less deciding who the main characters are. We've defined most of our cast. We've got Kenneth Branagh coming in as the island manager. We've got Tom Hiddleston, who played Loki, coming in as Amal Doon. We've got the idea of things going wrong being a rabies virus that Dennis Nedry, who is played by David Tennant, is going to do. But we haven't really done that much since you've been gone. I don't think there's any room for Tom Hardy in this, Phoenix. Sorry, you arrived a bit late. Can we get another villain in here? And it have to be the girl who plays Mary on Downton. Nerd Guy. I don't think. I know you don't like her, but that's no reason to put her as the villain in a Jurassic Park film just so you can get her eaten by a dinosaur. I know what you're planning. I don't know this particular actor, Neron. She plays an unlikable character so well, though. Oh, that would be why I've not heard of this particular character. Particular actor. Dinosaurs can get rabies since it'd be a modern type of rabies, seeing me. Deadpool in Jurassic Park sounds super extreme. Yes, it does. Bruce Wayne. My uncle who breeds snakes says lizards can't get rabies, though. Can lizards get rabies? Okay, interesting. It says that birds, fish, insects, lizards, snakes, and turtles never get rabies. Interesting. Why doesn't it affect... Oh, I see. The rabies virus attaches to cells with specific chemicals on their surfaces, and non-mammals don't have those to attach to. After that, even for some mammals, such as cooler-blooded marsupials, the virus also requires a certain temperature range to multiply. Okay, that kind of torpedoes our plan to have the rabies virus as the thing that yeah, I mean, if it was only lizards that can't get it, then maybe we could argue that because of their relationship to birds, but if birds can't get it either, that torpedoes our plan. We could find a disease similar to rabies, but in birds. Righto, nerd guy. Bye-bye. This is biosyn. Dennis has a modified rabies. It's a bit of a... I mean, we could say that biosyn has just created a modified rabies, but I feel that's a bit of a cop-out. And I don't want the movie to be a cop-out. So we're gonna have to get rid of the rabies bit. In the novel, Dodgson created a virus. Wasn't there that thing going around in the Lost World novel, actually? That prion virus that was killing... Oh no, Guillermo. Well, we're not going to have fungus zombies. Good idea, but not for this particular one. But yeah, I'm sure there was some sort of virus going around in the Lost World. There it is. Just having a quick look. Oh, there you go. So, the young carnivorous dinosaurs were infected with prions, which cause a disease that shorten the dinosaurs' lifespans and infect their brains. Although the scientists contained the disease, it began to spread again when they abandoned the island. So we could certainly build on that. We could say that they've got something like that. MFG plants versus dinosaurs. DX, yeah. What's favorite dinosaur from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World Dominion? Ooh. Strictly from the movies then in that case. Probably the Isla Sorna raptors from JP3. I mean, my overall favorite dinosaur is Baryonyx, but if I was limiting it to the Jurassic Park films, then probably... Experimental rabies infection in birds has been reported, so it is possible. don't know, that lends a bit more weight to if Biosyn have found a way of making it more contagious. I think we could probably still have rabies being the result. And we can just claim the Biosyn has modified it. If it can affect birds in a lab, then I think that's enough. We would just need to like add a line into the film somewhere that explains how it's happened. It will not work. Yeah, but Phoenix, human cloning doesn't work. Getting DNA out of amber doesn't work. I think there are some elements that we can bend the rules a little bit. Obviously, we'll have to explain it. We can do that, but we are nowhere near that. Also, F you for pointing that out. But a good historian is always prepared to counter-argue. Okay, let's keep going with the plot, because we're a bit behind here. Sarah Harding has arrived at the island. She's coming to check on the island as on behalf of John Hammond. She gets off the chopper, meeting the new island manager, who is Kenneth Branagh, who is playing our island manager character. KB explains that things are going generally well. I think we need to make it very clear that the park is succeeding. Nedry on a call with Biosyn after he sabotages the food. In that call, they talk about the modified rabies. It would work. To explain it. Again, Dynamite, you're rushing ahead on the plot here. We're literally in the first 10 minutes. Even if we make this a 1.5 hour, no, a 2-hour movie. Let's make it a 2-hour movie. Let's say the first act is going to be the first 30 minutes. Like, we are a long way away from poisoning stuff with rabies. Have an opening scene be a setup. So we've already got the opening scene. Being that our computer technician who has replaced Dennis Nedry is not going ahead with Lewis Dodgson's plan to explain how this is a alternate sort of reality JP story. Maybe behind Sarah Harding and KB, Nedry gets off chopper. In disguise? Well, I say in disguise. He's just dressed up to be like a normal individual. Yeah, we need to introduce the other members of the cast, don't we? So the visitor center and the control room. So we get to see the visitor center in all its glory again. Visitor center in all its glory as per the first movie. Introduces us to When they get off the chopper, they go on a jeep ride to the visitor center. On that ride, the characters explain a little about who they are. That's a good point. Heads to a parked jeep. We can have that after we see Dennis Nedry getting off the chopper. So, KB and SH take a jeep to the visitor center. In the jeep, SH discusses the ongoing building at San Diego. Wu and Hammond we can implement the random genetic effects from Jurassic World Evolution 2 in the story, like the dinos were a no-show because they obtained the nocturnal gene. We could put some sort of element in there, like that. KB is Kenneth Branagh, Phoenix. Maybe we get introduced to Reynolds and Tech Girl can be close to range. She is the one to tour Sarah, at which point they become close. Let's be careful, Neron. Romance muddies a plot. Maybe at this point KB can mention that Dr. Dewar has been investigating that some of the dinosaurs' genetic codes seem to have spontaneously mutated. And he can give example. Oh, the camouflage incarno. So maybe the camouflage incarno was not expected, and it's a symptom of this random genetic mutation that seems to be happening. And we still have to give a name to the tech. We do. We still have to name our technician. Actually, I know who wants to play. I know who I want to have play Dr. Dewar. I just cannot remember the actor's name. And curses for me having to actually search up this awful TV show. Michelle Yeoh, that's the one. Okay, so we'll have Michelle Yeoh as Dr. Dewar. You know, make Dr. Dewar a bit older, a bit more mature, a bit more intelligent. Definitely, like Michelle Yeoh and Henry Wu. Like that would be, to have both of them on screen at the same time, that would be quite a combo, wouldn't it? When they get to the visitor center, they are greeted by Maidun, and he says hi in his name, and then says he's the head of security and continues to have a small convert. Like the camouflage incarno and hyper-aggressive Pachy's. Yeah, Pachycephalosaurus. Yeah, okay. So we'll hyper-aggressive. Maybe we can actually see the hyper-aggressive Pachycephalosaurus, like maybe while they're at the visitor center, they can get the reports of the hyper-aggressive Pachycephalosaurus escaping its containment. On arrival, they bump into Robert Muldoon. Who are we having play Robert Muldoon again? Oh, Tom Hiddleston. TH. He just introduces himself to Sarah Harding. That would be quite... Could we have maybe Robert Muldoon and Sarah Harding having a bit of sexual tension there? That would be... I feel like that would be quite funny, actually. Let's just put some sexual tension. It just introduces himself to Sarah Harding. We should have a scene where they go through the Mr. DNA cartoon. Well, we can have that at the beginning, at the very, very start, where we see after the opening scene with Dodgson and Nedry. We can have that in the opening bit where John Hammond is welcoming guests to Jurassic Park. Mr. DNA. Please have Dennis Nedry slap Dodgson. Well, Dodgson isn't actually going to be in the movie. It's just going to be our new Nedry talking to him. We don't want to give too much away at the very start, even though it would be quite funny to see Nedry slap Dodgson. Robert Muldoon reports that they have a dinosaur attacking one of the fences. So he is off to investigate. Inside Control Center, SH KB, meet Morgan Freeman and our new technician, MH. And introductions are made. Oh, we're going for a really mature audience, 15 or an 18, because I want the dinosaur carnage to be gory and bloody. Morgan Freeman is here because Morgan Freeman is playing our replacement for Ray Arnold. Ooh, I will watch it then. Says Phoenix. Introductions made. SH will ask about the dinosaur incident that Muldoon is investigating. And Ray and MH will bring up on a big screen TV in room of a Pachycephalosaurus that is bashing its fence, ignoring the electric shocks. Maybe SH can express some surprise as to the dinosaur's self-destructive behavior. New tech now going to Yathushi Davids. It's a bit of an Asian sounding name for a character who's entirely... I'm not sure Yathushi is a good first name, Neron. We could We could give we could actually give that though to Dr. Dua. So let's have Dr. Yethushi Davidson. Well, let's have a useless with names. Yethushi Dua. Maybe do it tell Sarah about the Therizinosaurus being separated because we don't have Therizinosaurus in the story. And considering we have quite a few big name animals we need to have in this, perhaps the Giga, the Quetz, the Tylosaurus, the Chameleon Carno, the Sauroraptors. I think we're done with violent dinosaurs. No worries. I know, and like I say, I think it's a good first name for Dr. Dua. Look up some Herbies we can use. So let's say meanwhile we switch to Muldoon and his ACU team and his park security team. You have reached the fencing that the Paki is attacking. Maybe we should have this scene like how sort of they reach the bit of the fence where the Pachycephalosaurus has been attacking it, but the dinosaur is no longer there. And they think it's gone, and then the Pachycephalosaurus like suddenly attacks the fence again, like running full pelt, and just breaks through the thing. And then swiftly headbutts one of Muldoon's team so hard into his Jeep, you know, a really horrible bone-breaking sort of him. A bit Indominus style-y, but with a bit more intelligence, Dinosaur King. Dino is nowhere to be seen. However, the low concrete... I mean, let's have the fence as being, like, not a full-on massive thing. Like, the low concrete wire fence is clearly heavily cracked, but still in place. However, just as Muldoon calls it in for repairs, Hacky appears again. Full-on runs a fence, smashes it down, breaching containment. I don't think it should break through. Maybe just scare them. The Lost World showed one head-butted man flying. See, I would quite like to redo that scene, just make it a bit more, like, clearly painful. But then Dino Army says they shouldn't break through, maybe just scare them. I'm actually with Dino Army here. I think it is a bit early in the film for breakout, and I agree with Neron that we could have maybe in the attack that doesn't breach the concrete, the dinosaur like severely injures itself, and they bring the dinosaur in for investigation. Seriously injures itself. Muldoon is told to bring the animal in for medical care. maybe we could then introduce a vet. Because obviously Dr. Dua being our genetics expert is one thing. Someone related to, so this Dino Hunter guy, we can replace them. We need a park vet. Investigation sounds like we're making the Paki sit at the end of a chair for questioning. Well, you know, bring it in for medical care and also have investigation into why it's doing this. The vet from Prehistoric Park, Suzanne from Prehistoric Park. Heavily judged. Yeah, definitely. So what is Nedry doing while this is... Meanwhile, we switch to Nedry. We switch to Nedry, who is exploring the park as a guest in disguise. Whereas the Pachycephalosaurus ends up just repeatedly bashing its head into someone's chest on the ground at some point for one of the deaths. That'd be quite horrible. I like that death idea though. If we are going to give them all rabies, the best way of doing that would be to poison a water supply rather than food. So maybe if all the animals, for a park like this, you'd probably have water supplies coming from like they'd all have automated water supply of some description. So maybe we could poison okay, so let's say he's exploring the park as a guest and is heading to a dam. We know there's a dam on the island. It's in the comic books that there's a dam on Isla Nublar. Maybe we could say this is where all the water for the animals is coming from. Tidskits. Not entirely sure I like that comment. Thank you. You could have Jerry Harding as the vet and Sarah is in his previous daughter. Ooh. Okay. And then we could kill off Jerry Harding. I think we should kill off Jerry Harding. Jerry Harding as Sarah Harding's estranged father. The plot is thickening. And is heading to a dam on the island that is also responsible for supplying the enclosures with drinking water. Nedry manages to slip by security, finding a back entrance, and gains access with something. Not sure. Wouldn't that infect the human water supply too, or shall we say that the water for the guests is made using a different river? I mean, it makes sense that you'd use a different water source for the animals to the humans, just in case the animal water supply was infected with something. Or if the human water supply was infected with something. You would have the two separate. So I think it makes sense that they would be separate. So he finds a back entrance to them and gains access with a manufactured keycard that's clearly not JP, but works nonetheless. So we need to change our opening then. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, so, it's clearly not Jurassic Park, but works nonetheless. Inside the dam, he sneaks around until he finds what he's looking for, which is he then opens up. He then takes out of his metal case a large vial of something. The vial itself is clearly labeled as biocin property. So we have them labeling it as biocin. So we know that they're responsible for what's going on here. He poisons the dinosaur water supply with the virus. Should we say Nedry's other goal is to terminate the tech cow for having company secrets? We could say that his other goal is to infiltrate the genetics lab and download all the computer data. So that way Biosyn has removed the competition and got access to all of their secrets. Before leaving the dam and making a call to Biosyn, states that Phase 1 is complete. If the Quet is still our big bad, what if the aviary has a different kind of breakout? Through a viewing gallery, which is kind of funny because people want to see the animals up close. I could just nosedive through a gallery. The problem with that sort of violence is that pterosaurs are lightly built. Like, it wouldn't survive breaking through anything. And I do want to try to be careful about presenting these animals too much like kaiju, and the Quets attacking the plane in Dominion was just belongs in a Godzilla movie. It doesn't belong in a Jurassic Park movie. But we do need to figure out how the Quets is going to escape. If the Quets is our big bad guy, we haven't really thought much about the dinosaurs. Okay. Meanwhile, we switch back to the veterinary area, where Sarah Harding is surprised to see her estranged father. Oh, Quets can be the first one infected. And we have a panning shot from the dam to show the next exhibit is the aviary. Oh, I like that. Panning shot away from dam, looking towards the large JP3 style aviary. As inference, it's the first exhibit that the water supply will harm. Nicely done, Neuron. What if Quetz doesn't escape? There's a hotel in the aviary. So we could have the Quetz not necessarily escaping, but just attacking the hotel. Maybe, like, it does break itself through one of the windows, which is reasonable. A lot more reasonable than smashing its way through the aviary, walls and stuff. What if the Quetz bursts through the hotel and there is a scene where it gets its skinny neck through an elevator door and pulls someone out? Ooh, I quite like that idea. That is quite a good idea, Titskits. We'll have to remember that one. Very creepy for sure. Things go wrong. Neji, where okay, so we've got the veterinary area where Sarah Harding is surprised to see her estranged father. He is brought in for medical care. As it's brought in, we are introduced to Dr. Dewar, who expresses comments, who wants to take a sample away for testing. Conversation between Dewar and Sarah Harding about the ongoing genetic abnormalities. Sarah Harding should ask Dewar about the Rexes, like perhaps the family Rexes live happily in the park. We could certainly mention them somewhere. But then how is the Quetz our big bad? That's a good point. Like, if we're going to have a big bad dinosaur, but then, did the originals have a big bad dinosaur? Like, the raptors were... I would argue that in the original movie, the raptors and the Rex shared responsibility for being big bad dinosaurs. Same in The Lost World. It was only really in the newer Jurassic World movies where they focus so heavily on a single dinosaur being the big bad guy. So we don't necessarily have to have one single big bad dinosaur, maybe. There's a lot of range of animals here to be put into this story. The Pterosaurs Lodge is a treetop level hotel in the aviary. That takes away the big part. Well, I think instead of having a single big bad animal, all of the animals should have some scenes. So the Quetz can just be one of the main threats, being the first infected. Actually, I feel like it being the Quetzalcoatlus is a bit too much like Dominion. I think we should change it. The Quetz is just too much like Dominion. As dark. And I'm sure there's plenty of other species that we could use. I mean, Hapsigopteryx and Quets are the bigger ones. Well, this is interesting. It says that Hapsigopteryx's jaw has a distinct point of articulation where it would have allowed the animal to have a very wide gape. Maybe we can bring that into it somehow. And I like that. I said Titskits that I like that idea for the Pachycephalosaurus skill. Should we go for the Geosternbergia? I think the Geo is just not big enough. What about Cerodactylus, Hapsigopteryx? It could pelican people. Exactly, that's what I'm thinking, Tid. So we'll go with yeah, so Gopteryx. Okay, so conversation between Duo and SH, talk about the ongoing genetic abnormalities. Meanwhile, so this is our act of scene, end of Act 1. End of Act 1 scene. Hotel in the aviary. How should we introduce this? Yeah, and we're using the hats, folks. You don't have to keep telling me. Guests leave the visitor center, go to hotel to set their stuff down and chill a bit before the tour. Maybe there's a deck. It lands on the deck and it breaks in. I mean, if you're going to have a guest area inside the aviary, it would be protected from the pterosaurs. So we'd have to explain... We'd have to have a scene where the Hapsigopteryx breaks through... yeah, sure, Dino Army, although I'm not on Discord or anything at the moment. Let's have a look at this concept art. Oh, wow. That's actually really cool, Dino Army. But yeah, it wouldn't be that exposed to the pterosaurs. That's just asking for trouble. It would be a lot more protected than that. It's a good looking building and everything, but it would just need to be more protected. As nice as it looks. So yeah, I don't know how we would have the Hepsagopteryx actually get into the hotel. Let me type in the chat with their Maybe it could just be accidental. Maybe someone's working on the protective grills that protect the hotel. Well, actually, no. I suppose what we could do is say that the windows of the hotel are, you know, thick enough that they're supposed to be protected, but maybe this thing starts breaking through. We can introduce Larry, who's, let's say, is 15. I think he'd be younger than that, to be honest, because Larry doesn't look particularly old in Jurassic World, and this would be sort of 10 years before, so he'd be actually maybe 15. He is staying in the hotel in the aviary, and his room is the one that gets attacked, and Sarah and to go in the hotel during it, saving Larry. No. We're gonna keep Sarah and such away from the hotel. It makes no sense that they would be in like a visitor hotel. They'd have their own staff areas for that. Whoops. Conversation between Dua. So hotel in the aviary. Someone is just watching from their room through the thick glass. You know what? Actually, I've just thought, what we could have in the hotel is that every room has one of those concave, like, bubble windows that you see at aquariums and stuff. Maybe the Hepsagopteryx can attack one of those bubble-like windows. And we will still have the elevator kill somehow. We can just have it, maybe that bubble window be quite large. Each room has a aquarium style bubble window. Which we have have a kid inside watching the pterosaurs. Can be inferred this is a young Larry, if it has to be somehow. Yeah, a bit like an observatory, but just a bit smaller than a massive observatory. And you see the so knock on the glass a few times lightly before it seems to go berserk and properly starts smashing the glass, scaring our young Larry. He chooses to hide in the bathroom, and we hear the pterosaur smash the glass fully and start walking around the room until it breaks through the next door. Under the bed. Oh, under the bed. We'll go with under the bed. Under the bed. And we can see it and we can watch it walk. And we watch it walk around the room. Since this is a gore film, we could technically kill the kid. That might be too dark. As the music changes to something. The Hapso seems a bit big though. We don't have to make it a fully sized Hapsogopteryx. We could make it a slightly less full grown. I mean, it doesn't have to be full grown. Just big enough to be a threat. Which even a half grown one would certainly be big enough to be a threat still. I mean, we could have it kill Larry's parents instead. And that would explain how it gets out of the room. Larry's mum then just walks in, screams at the obvious dino, or pterosaur, runs off, but pterosaur chases. Larry is too scared to follow. We watch from the pterosaur's POV as it chases Larry's mum towards our lift. Can I make this into a comic? I'd love to draw it all up. Please do. You know, if you want to make art for this, we have absolutely no problems with you doing so. If you want to join the Triclaw Discord, there should be a link down in the chat below. If you want to join the Discord, you can show it off on there. Also, Fletcher, an aquarium, not an aquarium. What? Oh, you don't have Discord. Well, we do have DeviantArt and a Twitter, which should also be linked below. So you can always post stuff to those as well. We don't have an Instagram simply because we don't really have a way anything to use it on. Really. Larry looks out the window, seeing the horror of the pterosaurs attacking other windows. Ooh. Okay, that can be the proper end to Act 1. But yeah, Titskits. DeviantArt is good. There should be a link down below. Well, or there's a link in the chat there. So we're watching the pterosaur POV as it chases Mum towards the lift. Mum seems to manage to escape. However, the pterosaur manages to get its slender neck through the doors shutting, and it drags her out before killing her. Final scene of the pterosaur. Is it in the hall with its beak covered in blood? Larry, meanwhile, sneaks over to broken window where we see other pterosaurs attacking windows and each other. There we go. That's the end of Act 1. So that's quite I'm quite surprised. It's taken us 2 hours and 10 minutes, but we've got quite a good I think we've got quite a good setup here already. We have, a mix of good cast members and new cast members. We have that mysterious mystery plot raised with both the rabies virus being in the water supply, but also the idea that the animals themselves are naturally showing some dangerous. Maybe the dinosaurs showing random mutations. Maybe we could make that something that a different company is doing. Isn't there one in Camp Cretaceous? Is it Manticore or something? Like it's their similar thing to Biosyn. Maybe we could somehow bring them into it. Maybe we could say the Manticore are responsible for the genetic. They've got someone on the island who's also maybe Biosyn, Nedry, and Manticore spy person can have bump into each other at some point after things are going completely wrong, and maybe they both end up dead to the Camocano or something. I'm not sure. Well, I'll put that down as a possibility in terms of plot. Manticore spy on island? Question mark? Oh, it's core, not core. It's over there. Yeah. The Manticore spy could get Pachycephalosaurus. Pachy death. That would certainly be a violent death for them, I think. And I think we got some interesting animals here. We've still got to the big bad pterosaur has been obviously used, and the Pachycephalosaurus has been used. We still have to have scenes with all these other animals, including Arthropleura. Arthropleura has got to be in it somewhere. And we could do with maybe removing. I think we'll remove the Giga. The Anki scene I suggested. Oh yeah, we still got the Anki scene, haven't we? Anki scene. Where the Gompies attack in. Yes, yes. Keep Giga. We need something T-Rex like. Well, why not we just have the T-Rex? I mean, I think we could make a reasonable movie without needing a T-Rex. We could just use Rexy as just like a little bit of fan service at the beginning and the end, maybe. I don't think T-Rex and the Raptors have to be in every single Jurassic film. They are part of the franchise, but I think there's space for something else. Like the camouflaging chameleon Carnotaurus, or the Tylosaurus, or the Herrerasaurus. I think it's time we introduce something. I mean, we could still have the Troodons. I'm actually going to say the Herrerasaurus or the Troodons from the Telltale game. Camocano would have to replace the T-Rex. Yeah. Arthropleura would be a new addition, thus not affected by the rabies. Oh, we could just... It's an insect, so not affected by rabies. Maybe at some point they go... I mean, it would have to be... The Arthropleura itself would have to be in like its own area, so maybe we could have at some point the cast is escaping and they go through the Arthropleura's bug house in order to escape. And just at the end the bot comes back. Isn't that nice? But the Telltale Troodons would certainly make for some scary night scenes, I think. But it's like I say, we've been going for over 2 hours here, so I'm going to leave it here for today. I will carry on with this. I think we're on to something good here. So I might carry on with this next week in addition to the usual Jurassic World stream. And we could have other bugs, we could. But for now, I want to thank you all for turning up and giving me your great ideas for this and working on this together. And like I say, I will be carrying on with this next week. Maybe on the Sunday stream. If people have been available for today, I'll do it on Sunday next week. And yeah, it'd be nice to finish this because I never got to finish the Better TV show script. So we'll do this next Sunday. So I'm looking forward to continuing this with all of you guys there. Don't forget, if you are new here or watching this after the fact, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We'll make this a Saturday thing, yes, titskits. And until next Sunday, stay safe, enjoy your Dominion DLC Jurassic World Evolution 2 builds, and yeah, have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye, everyone.